Mary says, our ear is a really good tool if we could use it in an effective way. And I agree with Mary 100%. And I think it's such an obvious thing that nobody really pays careful attention to. Think about a baby. Every baby becomes a native speaker of their language, almost, unless there's some big cognitive problem, developmental issue. So if that's the way, okay, 100%, let's say, statistically, 100% of babies become native speakers of their language. That's a pretty good success rate. If you saw 100% success rate in anything, you'd go, wow, I'll do that. But then this weird thing happens where people around the world learn English in middle school and high school, and something weird changes, where it becomes less about how babies do it and more about getting things through your eyeballs, seeing things, seeing a word on a page, seeing a book, seeing an exam, right? And thinking about the answer to a multiple choice question where they fill in the blank question. This is so unnatural. And so when people finish high school and their English is still terrible, and they become English majors in university and their English is still terrible, it's not surprising to me even a little bit. It's not even a little bit surprising. Obviously, you're not a good English speaker, even though you're an English major. Obviously. Because you're so far away from the way that has a 100% success rate. You're taking in English through your eyes, mostly, and using your brain to process that information. And you haven't developed the thing that is really what language is all about. Language is more about ear-mouth than it is about eye-mouth. Written language is newer than spoken language. Spoken language has been around for, who knows, maybe 40 or 50,000 years, let's say. There are different theories on where it comes from. Written language has been around for maybe at the most, it seems like 7,000 years or something like that. Written language is kind of fake in a way. It's a way to record information. It is not the way our brains It's not the way our brains best process communication. Our brains best, that's a tough one. Our brains best process. Try to say that 10 times. Brains best process. Our brains best process things that we hear, generally speaking. And babies are great proof of that. They're around language. They're surrounded by it constantly. They learn the phonemes of the language, the sounds. They get built in. The baby's little brain structures, which are set up to absorb language, take in these bits and pieces from their language and fill it into this idea called universal grammar, which was developed by a guy named Noam Chomsky. You can look it up. It's really interesting stuff. But the brain is built for taking in information this way. It really is. That doesn't mean we can't learn stuff this way. But this is the first one. This is the one that's hardwired for getting natural in a language and communicating. So I say all of this to say that I want you to get out of this way of thinking, of this middle school way of thinking, of I'll just read something. I want you to get toward getting your ear at least up to that level, and ideally even beyond that level, farther than that level. Start processing things as a baby does. Start listening to people, do listening exercises. You can listen to short recordings and try to write down everything that you hear. You can try to do shadowing, which is a technique where you listen to a short section and you try to exactly copy the sounds rather than focusing on the words. You focus on the sounds. This is the way that I work on accents. I love to do different accents. This is the way that I do it. It's a great way to practice. It's a great way to improve your pronunciation. It's a great way to improve your comprehension of what you hear around you when you're in a conversation with a native English speaker or you're watching a movie. There are no downsides to working on your listening, and I find it to be crazy that people don't focus on it more. I really think it's crazy. If you can't watch a movie without subtitles, then you need to work harder on your listening. So I know that I'm ranting a bit, and I apologize for getting upset about it, but come on, guys. Work on your listening. I agree with Mary McCain. Guys, if you have any questions about this, let me know. If you have, if you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button, of course. Don't forget to subscribe and check out my full courses in the links in the description.